Hello, Delaware Food Pharmacy families. Thank you for joining us for another Dash Diet video. My name is Shannon and I'm a registered diet technician and chef. Today, we are lucky enough to have Christiana's own Eric Plautz. Eric made our display board and will be helping us learn more about salad greens today. And we'll get to learn a little more about him.
Yep.
Well, hello, Eric, and thank you for joining us today. Let us begin. I wanted to start by asking, how long have you been at Christiana Hospital?
I've been with Christiana Hospital for about 8 months now.
And what is your favorite part about your position?
So one of the things that I've always enjoyed is working with people one-on-one. And this gives me a great opportunity to interact with people on a daily or weekly basis and help them improve behavior changes and become better versions of themselves.
That's actually really awesome. Do you like to cook?
I wouldn't say that I don't like to cook, but I will if I have to.
Okay, I heard you're a bit of a sous chef.
Yes, I am more of the person in the background rather than the person doing everything.
Today, we're going to go over just a few different kinds of greens that we can use. And I don't know if you guys knew this, but Eric made this board. The board that we use for all the displays is absolutely gorgeous.
A good thing about wood boards is they have an antimicrobial feature to it so that they don't hold on to bacteria. Whereas if you cut on a plastic cutting board, eventually, because there's so many knife marks in it, it can hold on to bacteria and eventually cause adverse situations if you're using different foods.
Like if you're cross-contaminating like chicken and
Exactly.
and vegetables, and that's why we bleach them,
Yeah.
to keep, that's why I bleach mine. But absolutely, I've seen in working restaurants giant dents and stuff. So this is beautiful work.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the greens. Do you know what all these greens are?
I don't.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fair. This one, you know, this is romaine.
Yes.
And this is one of your favorite salads. This Caesar.
Yep.
Caesar. I'm only kidding. All right. And what's good about Caesar that it's firm. Or romaine, in that matter. It's firm and it's strong, so it can hold the salad dressing. Caesar is very thick. A lot of dressings that are cream-based, you want a heartier kind of green so that it doesn't like wilt everything down immediately. I don't know if you guys have had salads where you dress them and you wait a little bit and then they're all of a sudden like super like smushy. There's no texture. There's no dimension to the flavors. It's because they're not as strong. This is like your He-Man or your Hulk of greens right here. All right. And then we have spring mix. So spring mix is what you see in bags and boxes, and it's a mixture. And it's also called mesclun. Mesclun, I might be saying that wrong, but there's all different kinds of greens in it. Usually it's got a mixture of spinach, it's got a little bit of green leaf. Sometimes it will have arugula in it. And Eric, you just asked me about this. Remember what it's called?
No.
Endive.
And,
Okay, so endive and radicchio.
Radicchio.
Right? It's ridiculous. They are from the same family.
Cabbage family.
Chicory family,
Dang
but
it.
close, very close. So chicories is a family of greens, and they basically they're rich in fiber. They also have a lot of they're hearty and they're a little bit more bitter. So they're closely related to salads, but they pair well with things like cheeses and nuts and fruit. And they also can be cooked or roasted.
Interesting.
Eric, do you know what this one's called?
Yes, that's arugula.
Arugula is a great green, and I use it a lot of times actually on top of like pizza. I'll put like a reduced balsamic with it, but it's also fantastic in salads with a vinaigrette, and you can cook it as well. This is called frisee, and what I think is cool about frisee is that it does add a different texture, but the colors are neat too. And we often think of greens in different shades, but there's some methods where they grow things in the dark and it actually gives them a yellow color or a white color, which just gives, again, a little bit more dimension to your salad. So this one is kale. And when I first started cooking, kale was legitimately just a garnish. No one ate it. I was at Friendly's. It was my first cooking job, and it was the garnish for everybody's like grilled cheese or patty melt. It would be a piece of kale with like an orange on it, and we just throw it out. And in the past couple of years, it's become like super popular. It's decent if you saute it, with a little bit of olive oil and some seasonings. All of the greens provide nutrients. They all are high in like calcium and vitamin K. Do you know what vitamin K does?
No.
All right. Well, only reason I remember vitamin K from school, and I'm not making this up, is because it helps clot blood. Okay, so if you get a cut, and in my brain I thought, right, K for clot, which is not correct, but I remembered it that way. So it helps you heal things. So I know sometimes in our community that with Dash Diet, we have people who get bruises, and what happens is that vitamin K helps you heal faster with those bruises.
That's pretty cool.
So that's why a lot of these greens not only pack that nutrient punch, like they have calcium, they have vitamin C, they have vitamin K, they also fill you up. And they taste great. So the last one that I have to show you is a product called watercress. And I actually didn't put it on the board because it still has the roots to it, which just means it's really fresh. Watercress is another green that's great to cook with. Like you can use this for soups. You can saute with it and put it in like stir fries. Also in a salad, it's super light, but this means it's fresh, and the thinner the stems, the better it'll taste. If it has thicker stems, you kind of want to cut them off, but the thinner ones you can just eat, and it's a really nice, again, it adds more dimension to your greens. A lot of people also like collard greens, and collard greens are super rich in nutrients too. Collard greens actually have a lot of vitamin C, and vitamin C is great for collagen production. So again, these are all things that we need in our body. They're rich in antioxidants, and they just add a lot of flavor and ideas for meals. I do have a few vinaigrettes ideas here because I like vinegars a lot. So I brought a couple out from my collection just to show you. I can't believe I have a collection of vinegars. That's really not normal, is it, Eric? Nope. Okay. But I do. So my favorite one is rice wine, and rice vinegar is just a little bit more mild. So it's not as like punchy. It doesn't have that sort of bitey kind of tartness that a white vinegar would have. But of course I have a white vinegar because there's different things that you want to have different flavors with. And sometimes I like something a little bit stronger. My personal favorite is balsamic. I love balsamic, especially for like the caprese salad. That's the, you know what caprese is?
Spinach with, no, basil.
Perfect.
Basil with mozzarella and tomatoes.
Very good. It's one of my favorites. Recently, I've used a cheese called burrata in it, which is really nice.
Not familiar.
Yeah, it's really nice. And then we have some good old red wine vinegar, and we have some apple cider vinegar. Most of the time, salad dressings are made with olive oil. So I have this extra virgin olive oil. And what that means is that it's the first press. That's why it says it there. And it's more like green looking than the other kind. So you can saute with this, but you generally would use a lighter one, like a light olive oil to saute with. And then we have my family's here, nope, that's not right, oleo, extra virgin olive oil. It says right there, Mazet. Just gotta prop my name a little bit. We've never been here, never been to Italy, but maybe someday. All right, so I think that's it. Do you have any questions about the greens?
No.
Do you have a favorite green?
I would say I prefer more of the romaine or the spring mix, with a little bit of arugula. Kale, I only eat as like when my wife and I bake it, so we make kale chips.
Oh.
And I do like spinach sometimes. So I would say romaine's probably at the top and kale is probably at the bottom. But those are all still greens I'll eat.
Yeah, I am a big fan of the mixed greens because they contain a lot of them.
Yeah.
And I also really like arugula a lot. It's one of my favorites. Kale, too, I don't eat a kale salad, but I like it sauteed.
Sure.
And it gives it a little bit more flavor, and it's not as bitter. Thanks to Eric and everyone for joining us today. I hope it was helpful. In our next video, Eric will be joining us again to help us use our greens for a quinoa salad. Remember, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to your care team at Christiana.